Yeah, thanks for coming. I think a big part of these events, a lot of people come to them because they want to connect with fellow people, so that's why I added that. So if you want to add it, it's just a spreadsheet, add your name, your LinkedIn. I didn't add this field, but maybe add a bit about what you do for your business, just so you can connect with other people.
It's currently view only.
It's view only?
Yeah.
Thanks. Boom. Thanks. Shit. Classic.
Human control.
Okay, wait, I'll give you guys, I want you guys to actually do this because I know a lot of people are like looking for jobs or doing that type of thing. So just give it 10 seconds. I won't even look, you don't have to do it. Okay. And boom. Okay. So the title of this talk today is Engineering Brand Memory for Personalization at Scale. It's going to be presented by me. My name is Lautaro. I'm the CRO at Personalize. We deal with HubSpot companies, typically mid-market companies, on personalized customer journeys using their context that is specific to their vertical and using that for use cases like an email writer, for example. But it can get a lot more crazy than that. For example, website copy. So imagine you come to a website and your cookie is attributed to your contact record, and then everything on that website changes in terms of the text as if it's speaking directly to you in terms of the products that are of high interest or stuff like that. And you can see how that's definitely where the future is going in terms of, for example, a Costco newsletter. You have your young people and they need lots of images, videos, versus your old person who needs bigger text, straightforward, easy to read stuff. So that's kind of what we're trying to build, but we're targeting just the B2B space right now because B2C data, there's a lot of regulations, lots of stuff around that, and not everyone's super willing to give their data out versus the B2B space. Okay, so agenda today, next slide, it's basically a more advanced agenda. Next slide after that is the core concept. So what is a context window? What is context in general? Roadblocks, so what have I seen in terms of businesses, in terms of where people get stuck, where people mess up, and then audit, like what is that data that is proprietary to your business in terms of inbound stuff, in terms of your industry that is high value in terms of using it as context for personalized customer journeys. Map, so essentially how we're gonna create a process within your business to do this properly. Score, so how do we refine that data so it's easily digestible by AI? And wireframe, similar to map, but more on the AI agent workflow side of things. And then test. So this, I want this to be interactive. There's going to be ways we can do that, but a notepad, a notes app, that would be sick if you could just jot stuff down that's relevant to you when I'm talking about these things and you think, okay, this is my piece of data that I think is relevant to my business, because in my opinion, this is some of the highest ROI stuff you can be doing in business right now, building a brand memory that lives as an invisible intelligence layer within your core processes. So, objective, why context beats content by introducing the memory card and showing how a unified context layer lifts personalization quality in sales and marketing. So, the memory card, I was gonna give you guys all a card with some fields, but I think it's better just to write down things that you think are proprietary to your business in terms of, for example, in the health industry, you're gonna have this type of data versus e-commerce, you're gonna have this type of data, for example, past product purchases, or maybe transcripts, email threads, all those things. Just write it all down, so after this, you can actually go and start finding these pieces of data, organizing it, and using it as context to have higher quality, more relevant outputs from things like AI agents. Demonstrate how to use context gates and reusable instructions for researching, reasoning, and writing to build journeys that behave like you. So essentially, this is scoring data. So in a contact record, you could have a shit ton of information, and it's not economically friendly to give all that information to the LLM, and it also adds more risk in terms of a quality output. So you want to create guardrails and QA agents and things that filter down that data so it is easily digestible by AI and is economically friendly. Equipped attendees with a 14-day rollout. So I don't have like an exact template, an exact timeline on how you should do this, but as you're writing your notes, it essentially goes from audit your entire business, understand that data, map how you're going to condense that data and put it into the right mechanisms, score it, so cut half the bullshit out of it, only keep the most relevant stuff, wireframe, attach it to useful AI agent workflow, and then test that. And then there's one missing thing here, is iterate. So a big thing we do in our software is we just want people to create an output on like 5 contact records, for example. Look at the output, look at the reasoning for that output, and then 100% of the time, it's not gonna be good. So you wanna go back into the instructions and then optimize that prompt. We call it variable. For example, your ICP prompt or your avoid list prompt, stuff like that. So you get that output, and then you scale to 10 records, and then you look for errors. If there's no errors, you scale to 100 until you can confidently do it at 1,000 records, and then you know you have an asset that is accurate. Okay, so core concepts. Essentially, the quality of AI agents is determined by the quality of the model, the quality of the prompt, and the quality of the context. That's it. That's all you need to know about getting high quality outputs. So the context. Essentially, there's this thing called the context window. And you have your AI app, which just think of it as like a portal to the LLM. It's pretty useless. It's basic. And then there's a context window, which feeds into the LLM. And the context window, all the advancements you're seeing in AI and AI agents, it's just people optimizing context windows in terms of people are building whole businesses off just building a unique context window. So that's pretty much how that works. What lives within the context window? An acronym to think about it is PART. So you have your prompt, you have your archive, things like files, images, anything that you think is outside of the prompt that can be used as more context documents, resources, so things like I'm pausing there. Resources. Sorry, I'm going to skip that for now. I'll get back to you. But tools is like websites, APIs, MCPs, stuff like that. What did I think for resources? We're going to get back to that. I'll answer that at the end of this presentation. Roadblocks. So almost, I'd say like probably like 50% of this room is like doing some of this stuff in their business. So they have fragmented data, no source of truth. So you have contact records or a contact database. Your CRM is missing information in terms of emails, call transcripts, everything. Like you might have 1 or 2 contact records that have a shit ton of data, but I bet not every single one of your contacts has a rich contact record associated with it. No shared ICP rules or tones. So you'd be surprised, like this is like basic business fundamentals, but a lot of people don't have it, especially as like a dedicated Bible within their business saying, this is our ICP, this is our tone, stuff like that. And that type of stuff is just gonna be so valuable when it comes to optimizing your memory layer. Missing baselines and KPIs. So a lot of people don't even know why they're getting into AI agents. So you want to come up with what you're doing right now in terms of conversion rate, stuff like that. Meetings to booked call from form submission, stuff like that. And then write those metrics that you have right now, test one AI agent use case, say we're gonna do it for 30, 60 days, look at the results after that. If the metrics go down, you don't wanna do that. If they go up, you wanna invest more into this and put it in more avenues in your business. Leadership misalignment. So I was talking to Robert about this a bit before. Like a lot of people don't have someone who's actually gonna spend their entire day, every single day, holding, being like the leader in implementing these type of things. And also, even if there is someone who says they're gonna do it, there's like bureaucracy in terms of this leadership role over here says he wants to do it this way, and this leadership role wants to do it this way, and then stuff never gets done. And as someone who sells this type of stuff to people, like this is very common. Not embedded where work happens. So our big thing is we build natively within HubSpot, and the reason we do that is because our only competition is companies that are telling them to train their team on a separate software, or it's HubSpot itself, which CRMs just have a big roadblock in terms of seat-based pricing and this new world of AI agents, because why would you pay for 20 seats if you can just get 2, 3 seats and have an army of AI agents that do all the work that they've typically added more seats to do that work. So you want to build this and have like in your CRM. I'm not saying like use HubSpot, but a lot of CRMs do have options to add AI agents, and you don't want to have a scattered tech stack. You don't want stack creep. Yeah, that's just, I just see a lot of businesses with like 5, 7 different softwares, and they're also using Google Sheets, and it's just crazy. It's ridiculous. Let's go back to that one. What are some roadblocks? Anyone have some things that you think are like holding you back from doing AI agents and actually implementing AI?
Trust and security of the data that I'm sending the AI to.
What industry are you in?
Finance.
Okay, yeah. So you're gonna wanna find someone who does like on-prem stuff. So they build something that's not a cloud AI essentially. It's like a localized server that is hardware, and then that gives you ultimate security. So, yeah.
I saw this for the first time this week. I got an NDA saying you can't put confidential information into an LLM.
No, definitely not, because ChatGPT's training.
This is the way people work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can't do that, most people aren't going to do their jobs anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate that?
Yeah. My whole thing is like having everything live within the contact record. Like I think the majority don't like put the stuff that you don't want in there, but there's like very high ROI stuff in terms of call transcripts, email threads where someone brings up an objective or someone makes a commitment to some certain thing that is going to be still very valuable, and you don't have to include all that proprietary stuff that doesn't need to get read by the AI. For example, maybe you have like these whole documents, PDFs, like you don't need to do that. And PDFs are actually, it's really hard to do PDFs right actually, because there's just a bunch of like visual stuff in terms of things could get messed up and read wrong. And in an industry, if you need everything to be right 100% of the time, that's tough. Yeah. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah. Well, I just PDFs. Why is it like that? Why do they always come out like shifted, like off the page and like?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. The text's just not there yet. I posted something on LinkedIn the other day, like LLMs are not looking at any images. Like if you do a website scraper and you try to get information from a website using an LLM, they're not gonna read any of the images. But I think it's like a very like blue ocean opportunity to figure that problem out, because it's possible. It's just, it's hard to make it reliable at scale for sure. Yeah.
Something I've ran into is just like the amount of revisions that it takes. A lot of people see, a lot of kind of laymen's that I've worked with, like they see 1 or 2 revisions and they go like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
It's not really saving me any time. It's, I can just do this easier, better.
Mm-hmm.
How many kind of revisions is it, if I'm guessing with the CRM, if you're trying to write like a follow-up email to like a call screen, like transcript, how many revisions do you typically, you're saying you start with 10, then you go to 100, then you go 1,000.
Yeah.
How many revisions does
Great
it take
question.
to build out something that's 95 or 100% accurate? And where
Yeah.
do you find the percentages that people are like, okay, this is good enough, I can trust this?
Yeah, I would always just say definitely don't expect 100% in your brand voice. Try to get to 90%. But I had this conversation just yesterday too. I think when it comes to that, there's like two things people are aiming for. It's brand voice and relevancy. And I would argue that like relevancy is more important than the email being perfectly 100% in your tone, how you write emails. So first, I would shift your focus away from like brand voice and more on relevancy. And then when it comes to getting it to 90%, how many iteration cycles? I would say like it could be a lot, but minimum I would do 10, and I would even keep going to like 50, 100 iteration cycles in terms of going through that cycle. 5 records, errors, 10 records, errors, fix, go back. But it's a lot of work, it sucks, but after you get that accuracy, that's an asset within your business that is extremely valuable because it's a salary, you know? So just like you gotta think about it that way. But it definitely takes a lot of iteration cycles to get something reliable.
So a lot of channels right now are hypersaturated. Like our attention is just being bombarded by
100%. Yeah.
a tsunami. So how do you find channels that, like, email is a terrible example.
Yeah,
Like,
cold
somebody
AI email
emails,
does not work.
It's just doesn't get read.
Yeah.
So how do you find the channels and how do you use AI?
My whole life is go-to-market right now. I haven't like cracked the code. I'm not like a $1 million business. I'm definitely a startup right now. But from where I'm at in the space, in terms of me using my own tech and like trying to figure this out, I think it all lives in inbound. Like that's where you're gonna get the highest ROI on these use cases. So you go to an event or you host an event, they fill out a form submission, and then you respond with a hyper-relevant, like accurate response. Instead of saying, thanks for completing the form, buy all our shit, say, thanks for completing the form. I think this specific product that we sell is relevant to you for XYZ reason based on XYZ research we've done on you.
So it starts with that face-to-face connection.
Yeah, I think events are kind of the highest ROI, like webinars, in terms of going to market. Like that's where my mind's at right now. Yeah.
If an ICP is wrong, the brand voice is going to be wrong. So how
Yes.
should I identify the relevance?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough question. So the question is, if your brand voice is wrong, if your brand voice is different from your ICP, can you rephrase the question?
If the ICP is done wrong,
Yes.
your brand voice is going to be wrong.
Yes.
Then how would you make it relevant, even after 10 iteration?
You just have to create multiple campaigns, so multiple ICP variables and multiple brand voice variables in terms of segmenting. So where I like to start when doing this type of stuff is qualification. So we want to create a use case that we create a really rich qualification criteria for one ICP. And then if that contact equals true underneath qualification criteria, then that will trigger a separate agent workflow that is tailored to that segment that list was qualified for. And then that's one for one ICP and one brand voice, and then you want to create a new qualification workflow for this ICP and this brand voice. You just have to like segment it, and that's another big thing. Like you can do this once, but the whole name of the game right now is hyper segmentation and small lists. Like spray and pray is dead. You need to like be doing this for like 100 to 200 groups of people. You know? Does that answer your question? I'm willing, challenge me. Okay.
I mean, is that what you mean by visiting the baselines? Because sometimes the ICP is gone wrong. So we're trying to be the hyper segmentation,
Yeah.
but you haven't done the thing which needs to be written for ICP. So how, like, what's the ranking here? Because you're all fragmented data and no shared ICP, the missing baselines. So how ranking if I'm looking at the rollout scope, I look at
When I think about baselines and KPIs, I'm thinking about volume in terms of how much you're doing and then conversion on that volume primarily. That's what I'm thinking. But let's talk Andrew. That's a good question. Okay, this is audit. What you have, what's lagging, and what it takes. So this is when I want you to start thinking about what is that unique data you have within your business that could be used to close that deal. Whether that's just commitments or email threads where you ask for, like I just spoke with Kiefer from Elastic Energy, and he has an energy router that he sells to people. And the way he has to sell to these people is show them that first he has to understand what type of system or what type of energy routing system, like all these complex things that live within a database that's public to the public, and he needs to create his own database and then use that database to then provide higher accuracy outputs when it comes to an ROI calculator, for example. So think databases that are relevant to your vertical. Think, I already said emails, transcripts, events, like maybe you have notes, or your SDRs, like what are your SDRs primarily writing down in terms of information when they talk to prospects, stuff like that. Oh, I wrote some stuff here. Think forums, UTM sessions, technographic data. That is a really interesting one. I had a call with someone this morning, actually. It's Growth App. His name's Guido. He's in Iceland. They have like this system that helps people do a startup. So there's like 10 different steps in terms of give us your idea, and then people will fall off, right, in a 10-step process. But what we can do there is say, hey, we know about your startup idea. We know you've reached this step in our customer journey. Let's keep you accountable. Let's bring that to the forefront instead of sending a general marketing email to every single person that's a user on his platform. Like, I think that's just so much better. Where are you underperforming today? So this is going to just like help you understand what you want to prioritize in terms of your first test run of AI agents. So is it KPI? Is it reply rate? Is it time to touch, form fill to meeting, meetings per 100 leads, stuff like that. And what budget and capacity exists? This stuff costs money. You can try to do it for free. If you're doing this for your business, you have to spend money on it. And capacity, you have to have that team member who's going to actually like commit to doing this and be the hero in terms of AI in that business. And that's just what needs to happen. Like this is a very important thing in today's business landscape. So look at your forecast, allocate some of next year's budget to AI, and would highly suggest a bigger chunk than a smaller chunk. Data, okay, so map. This is kind of how I want you to think about moving forward once you've written out all your data, stuff like that. So let's start with just getting everything in the contact record. Just make sure everything is within your contact records as fields. My contact records have like 50 different fields, and then we can map those fields to sequences and workflows later on. Qualification to actions. So this is why I want to start with those qualification workflows and then match them with specific segments. So we want to qualify for A, we want to qualify for B, and we want to qualify for C. If they qualify for A, we're going to put them down this AI agent workflow. If we qualify them for B, we're going to put them down this AI agent workflow. Channels to workflows. So think what I previously said, just workflows as channels, but channels to AI agent workflows. So that's AI agent use case. And then metrics to decisions. So track the KPIs, set that like test period of 30 to 60 days, and then make decisions based off those results as in, let's invest more time and money into expanding this to every point in our customer journey and our processes in our operating system in general, or let's not do this at all. Yeah.
Just on that, like, make your CRM memorize. Is there a preferred CRM to be using that
Yeah.
works really well with certain agents, or what are the best ones in your experience?
Yeah, so I'm biased. I just want people to be on HubSpot so that I can sell to them. But Salesforce is obviously the next big one, but I know Go High Level has a bunch of good, like, budget-friendly AI agent stuff. Attio is a new one I saw. That's really cool. That is very budget-friendly as well. What other CRMs do I know?
Google Sheets.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people off Google Sheets, but we do have a Google Sheets integration as well. Like, it's good to start with a CSV. Like, don't go straight to connecting your CRM. Like, start with the CSV, enrich that CSV with all those outputs, and then use that as a testing ground if you don't want to move directly to your CRM. Yeah, does that answer your question? Yeah. But yeah, definitely want everything to live within the CRM. Like, don't have like 5 different softwares, especially if your organization has like over 10 people, because people are just gonna not be efficient. Okay, any other questions on that one? I'm just curious, like, does anyone have like any ideas of that unique data they're collecting? Because like I said, how Robert introduced me, I'm just trying to like research verticals and kind of understand what that unique data is. Like, anything coming to mind right now?
Certifications or governance requirements.
Sick. What's the industry vertical?
Almost any industry that has any sort of compliance requirements.
Nice. And how do you use that data?
Well, if your ICP needs to have a certain sort of compliance in ISO standard.
Sick. Nice. Anyone else?
You mentioned, I think maybe you say call transcripts.
Yes.
So when you're trying to get all the data on a contact record,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably not copy and pasting a full transcript. You're probably having an AI pull out 5 or 7 things that you would then put into fields on. Is that?
Either or. I would definitely just put the whole transcript in a contact record and then create a second one, a second field saying optimized or more AI readable call transcript. But yeah, like, I just want every business to have context-rich contact records. And that just means dumping as much information as you can, because then the whole thing with AI and the big evolution is before we'd have to read all that shit, now we just have AI to read it way faster than us and give us actionable insights based off that. So we want to have as much information that's hard to read by us, but very fast to read by AI, because ideal scenario is you do read every single one of those words before that call and be like, okay, now I know exactly what they talked about on the last call, but you're not going to do that, right? Yeah.
Some of them automatically will like break it down into like 3 to 5 sentences of like summary of the call for like human digestion.
Yeah, I use Fathom and they do that, and I just feel like it just like misses a lot in terms of just key little minute details, and it does more of like a high level overview, where when we're talking about like hyper relevant personalized customer journeys, we want to be bringing up that very niche thing that they said on the call that we can then put in a follow-up or buyback email type of thing. Yeah, that's where my head's at.
Just
Yeah.
let me go back to that. So when you say assign user cases, is it a hypothetical?
So AI agent use cases, assign use cases. Yeah, okay, so I'll just name some use cases. We have like a 4 email sequence writer use case. We have a qualification use case. We have website personalization use case. And then we have like thousands of other use cases. And you just need to pick the one that works with your specific vertical. That And that's what I'm saying here, like assign, like pick the ones that are hyper relevant to you and then commit to testing them and tracking your metrics prior to it and then after it. And then if it works, invest more resources, scale it to more contact records, and then start thinking of the next one. Because once these things work, it's crazy valuable. It's a real asset inside your business. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Okay, so scoring data. This is the slide that I was most nervous to talk about because there's so many different ways of scoring data, and it can get extremely complex, or it can be pretty straightforward as well. But I'm gonna try my best. Score every memory from 0 to 10. Each fact about a contact or company gets a simple confidence score based on how strong the evidence is and where it came from. So this is when I need to like look at a business, understand all that data they have, and then kind of talk with them and work with them saying, okay, tell me what good data is, tell me what bad data is, what sources will allow you to, what sources do you have more confidence in versus less confidence in? And then we want to add essentially another AI agent that reads context prior to it being added into the workflow and breaks it down and only pulls context that is scored above a 9 or above an 8, which will then just create higher accuracy, more precise outputs. Use a guardrail / qualifier agent. The AI only uses high score facts, so what I was saying there, before it shows up in emails, workflows, those outputs that I'm talking about. And then slow the AI down with checklists. So reasoning and fix issues before anything is used. So checklist is different. We do essentially reasoning. So we'll get it to like create a field within the contact record saying, tell us your reasoning. Tell us why you qualified or disqualified this contact. And that's the type of stuff that we want to be reading and then going and optimizing those prompts variables to then create a reliable asset within your business in terms of you can just forget about it and it does the work in the way you intended to do it. Condense messy data into short memories. So that's what I'm saying, like economic friendliness when it comes to the token cost of running these things. If a token, think of it as like 1.25 words, I think is what it is. So if you have a call transcript that is like 2 hours long, you're going to use a lot of tokens, which means your API costs from OpenAI are going to skyrocket. So we want to dump all the information we have in our contact records, but then create that new field where it's the condensed, optimized version of that research that is low token cost and also just high relevancy. So it doesn't have a ton of options to choose from. It just has the highest scored options to choose from. And then put these scores into HubSpot and KPI. So you can, for example, if I qualify a list in HubSpot, and then I know they did X and they did Z, then if they did X, I'm going to give them a score of 5. And then if they did Z, I'm going to give them a score of 7. That's the typical way. It's kind of like Kanban type of things. But now what we can do is we can do a research on the contact record. And then if they meet this ICP or they meet this industry or this like detailed research, then we can create this more advanced way of lead scoring, which is just definitely something you should invest in because Kanban scoring is kind of irrelevant in my opinion. Like, I don't know why I would look at scores when I can just look at the Kanban and be like, okay, I know this person's in demo booked. I'm not going to be like, okay, this person's demo booked. He has a lead score of 7. And I'm going to just look at my contacts and say, okay, show me all the contacts that have a score of 7 when I could have just went to my Kanban and saw they are in that stage of the deal. So we want to score contacts on like actual information, like who they actually are, specific things that they've said on a call transcript or an email thread. Like that's stuff where then I would go into the contacts and be like, okay, I need to only target today leads that have a score of 10, and then maybe that list I exhaust, and then I want to go to 9, and then that's just going to prioritize my daily workflow in terms of just dealing with the highest intent, most likely to buy people. So that's a really cool thing. And then wireframe. So this is when we're coming up with those AI agent use cases. So just think simple, if this happens, then this happens. Just say if form is submitted, trigger this agent use case. If there's no contact for 1 month, trigger this use case. If qualification equals true, trigger this. And then obviously you want to create a more complex if-then statement with multiple if-thens when we're talking about segmenting, doing all those type of things. But just think if-then, if-then, if-then. Any questions? Sweet. Okay. So I would love to like connect with you guys. You can just get in touch with me, ask me detailed questions. If you use HubSpot, let's work together. I don't have any competition in HubSpot except for HubSpot itself. But if you want to pay a fuck ton of money for stuff you can't customize, like it's up to you. And why you should connect there. I'll send you guys the slide deck if you want to get this after. I'll send you this recording as well and just answer any questions. And I also post a lot. I think I post good stuff. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd love to just like open this up now though, and just get people's take on how they would use this in their business because this is what I said at the start. This is the most important stuff when it comes to being a modern business. Because if your competition does this and they sell the exact same thing as you, and they do this and you don't, like you're done for. You're absolutely done for.
So I agree with personalization. I was on a platform the other day, and it was late at night, greeting me like, "Oh, burning the midnight oil. How can I help you?" kind of thing. So knowing location, time, those kinds of things to have personalization.
Yeah, and I'm not even like, I work for Personalization, but I wouldn't say like personalization is needed in every single scenario. Like I just launched a LinkedIn campaign saying something very simple. It was just one sentence saying, "Are you going to Victoria Tech Week?" And that is like the highest conversion campaign I've ever launched in my life. Yeah, so it's just like crazy in terms of how you can sometimes use this and it has a very high ROI. And that's why I'm like outbound. AI email is not needed. Like don't try to think you can spray and pray and if you add AI personalization, it's gonna instantly improve your conversion rate. Because I think right now, if you're doing AI cold email, like everyone's getting like under 1% conversion rate in terms of like reply and stuff, if any replies at all. And yeah, just host events. Like that's what I've seen the highest ROI. Just come up with your target lead list that is targeted for the topic you're talking about. Email all of them, just invite them to a cool thing that is actually based off an intent signal, for example. Invite them, get them to fill out a form, get them to give you some piece of information that you can then do one of these use cases where it's not a generic, "Thanks for coming to our event." It's a, "Hey, we have this exact roadmap and this is exactly how we can get your business and provide value to you." Like that's what I think is the latest strat. But anyone else have any ideas on how they're doing their GTM in terms of events? Are you doing cold email? Are you just word of mouth? What's going on? Robert, you have any ideas?
You know, I know we use a lot of direct email.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, I could sure make that process smarter.
Yeah.
A lot of social media still, radio ads
Yeah.
started today.
Set.
For next week, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more traditional ways.
Yeah.
I wrote something interesting last week about someone writing old school letters
Yeah.
to people because of the problem of no one opens email. And he posted how high his conversion rate was. And then you look through the comments and say, well, you know, you're going to the people you used to work with, they know you. They wouldn't necessarily open everyone's letter. But it does capture the idea of how do you get beyond email that no one's opening.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd take that one further. Check their social media. If they like dogs, send them a card with a dog on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple relating to people. It's not that hard.
100%.
It's a stamp.
I stopped like when people are like, "You have Facebook?" When I want to get to know them or be friends with them, I say, "Just give me your number."
Yeah.
Because I lose contact or I lose like there's too many people on the internet like that. But if you get their number, you actually do call them and get in touch.
Yeah.
So like maybe text messages would be a great idea because everyone gets a notification with text.
Yeah. Yeah, text is great. It's just
And
like
that's it,
hard for compliance if you're
Yeah.
trying to scale.
Old school.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, I think I'm a big advocate for do things that don't scale. Like start there, because that's how you actually get started, you know? Like start scaling stuff once you've done a shit ton of things that don't scale and then you can't do them anymore because you have too much business. And then start scaling, you know?
It's interesting. My wife runs an optometry practice, and that's kind of where I'm applying a lot of stuff. We had a trunk show a month or so ago, and I was looking at ways to market it on it, and it's like email is flooded. You don't want to do that. Nobody is on Facebook. Well, Instagram has gone yes. Instagram was our primary channel because for eye care it was really good original channel. And I was talking to the frame reps that were doing the trunk show, and they've been doing this for 30 years. And I was like, what do you guys recommend doing? Like, you know, when we started out, we would just take your customer database and then send them all a flyer.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I've been chewing on this conversation for a year and a half. And everybody I asked to is like, you need to start with your patient base and you need to contact them to get them advocating for you. And then the other thing is, you know, it's the sandwich board outside the clinic, it's the posters on the wall, it's that face-to-face communication.
Yeah.
That seems to be the only thing that's really, really working right now.
Yeah, like we're all talking about like outbound use cases right now. And when it comes to like outbound, getting new business, like AI is not going to solve your problem. If anything, it's going to like make it shittier and make it not work even more. But like it all lives within the inbound. That's when time to response is a big thing. And then you add relevance and time to response. That's how you like improve conversion rates. That's how you build a stronger pipeline. Yeah, like just think of an SDR. Like if someone submits a form and books a call, is he reaching out to them? Is he like right away as soon as that form is submitted with a hyper personalized relevant email that's prepping them and making sure they come to that call? Maybe, but maybe like a day or 2 days, 3 days later, versus as soon as they submit that form, then they're getting that email.
So you had an optometry practice that you're working, correct?
Yeah.
Who in that practice would you send an email to? Because my experience is in every business, there's what we used to call a sergeant major, somebody who runs the freaking office.
Yeah.
If you can find out who that person is and keep in contact with them, when the head honcho has a problem, she's going to say, well, listen, you got to get in touch with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find that person.
True. 100%.
When you're doing like some like CRM consulting, you speak with a client. I know everybody's different, but is there somewhere in the pipeline that you're seeing the highest ROI to start with kind of like AI automation?
Yeah, I'd say form submissions. 100% form submissions. That's just like time to response and relevancy. That's obviously just going to improve conversion rates instantly. Yeah.
I'm thinking on your inbound comment, I mean, so personally, I'm working in wealth management. It's highly personalized. And it tends to be people want to call you when it's convenient for them. And if you don't set up some time in the forward calendar to do so, right? So I can envision where you would almost show that, look, if you call me right now, I'm available right now to speak direct to me.
Yeah.
As an inbound tool. And then knowing that that's a verified inbound call, not some robocall that I don't answer anymore.
Yeah.
If I knew that that was a verified caller they can get me right away.
Yeah.
That'd be a high level.
In terms of like an AIU talking on the phone.
So AI knows when I'm available.
Yeah.
Maybe it knows my schedule. Maybe it knows when I'm going to receive an inbound call and I'm actually going to take it.
Yeah.
And the customer can see that they're looking at my website or whatever it is and goes, Sean's available right now if you want to talk to him. But he's only going to be available for the next 20 minutes. And he's not going to pick up your call.
Interesting.
But it doesn't have to be in my business. It could be for anything because I get so many robocalls that I don't even look at them anymore. To your point, emails as well, don't look at them because I just don't trust anything anymore. It's only human and inbound and authentic connection. So if there's something that verifies both of us, I know it's a genuine caller with interest. It's not going to waste my time with some sales pitch. And the potential client knows that they're going to get me. That's highly valuable for both parties.
I'm kind of lost. So essentially,
so AI is going to figure out. It's going to know what I'm doing through the day. I'm going to have some kind of system that I give it my schedule. That I say these are the moments that I'm available through the day. And whoever's looking real time at my website, or they've looked at it yesterday and go, this person's available. This service is available at this time. And it's going to directly link us. Through, it's convenience for both of us, but I know it's an authentic inbound.
So basically what I'm thinking when you say that, I don't do this, but there's a lot of AI agent voice callers, and they just need to, it'll say, do you want to opt into an AI call? Because you have to do that legally, and that destroys conversion rates.
Don't want that.
So
I want the real human connection, but the AI is going to connect us.
What action? So they call you and then they speak
to me.
But like, what if you're not available?
But the AI knows when I'm available because I've told it, between 11 and 12, I'm going to be available for calls. And the AI is going to kind of put that on my website, but I don't have to think about it and tell my clients that.
Okay, so basically, I get it. So it's going to update your website based off what your Google. I think you mentioned this at another talk.
I haven't.
Okay, I'm having like deja vu.
It's like effectively just a Calendly link or a Google Calendar.
Yeah, like what?
It has a clear, you can just click on it and go, I'm available.
Yeah, whether it's synced to my web, it's synced to LinkedIn, it's synced to whatever my connection devices are that says Sean's available right now.
Yeah, but you only want because you can just use Calendly for that, but you want to qualify the person prior to giving them access to that.
Yeah. So that I know it's not a robo inbound. So you have to go through some kind of I'm a human certification.
Yeah.
I have a question. How do you qualify that the call is really an authentic one?
So
what are the criteria for that? Because
so whoever the user is says, completes the I'm a human, and goes connect.
So Siri, really annoyingly, I saw this on LinkedIn. I haven't been able to do it myself because it's not showing up. Apple's launched something with Siri where you can get Siri to screen unknown calls and give you a text summary of what the person is asking for, and then at that point you decide whether or not to answer it. In a wealth management setting, you might also want by that point, I don't know. But we need more of that kind of tech.
But the call could be a relevant client too. Because you can have it client with an unknown call. It's not part of your.
I didn't know that. I'm definitely going to do that.
So upgrade your software version.
Whoever the person is that's calling in, right? They're going to have to connect somehow. They're going to look at the website.
Call them a provider?
And they need to certify that they're a human, not just a robot, robocaller that's found my number. So they go click on that and say, I'm a human.
This person has.
And that gives the verification process, and then it comes inbound to me, and I know it's a human calling me.
So I'm going to layer that is the customer experience. You're going to ask
Tell us how to.
Okay, I'm on Telus.
You gotta turn it on.
Still.
Like on my Telus app? Like my Telus app?
I don't like turn it on. I'll tell you about it.
Okay. Yeah, figure that out tonight.
And that's what they're going to call you. So there is for the customer experience, it might be useful for the business, not for the customer.
It's interesting. I just had this experience with posting ones. I needed to buy a new range for my tent sleep sensor. And I was on the website, the chat link came up and said, "Hi, I'm Hassan from Coast Appliances. I'm here to chat with you. I can give you pricing for what the online experience had." Couldn't. At some point, that was some sort of AI chatbot that screened a piece of who I was. But it actually connected me with Hassan.
Sweet.
And then I engaged on the chat, so we qualified what my needs were, and the place where the customer experience dropped out is he said, "I'll get right back to you." And what he meant is, "I'll call you back." And what I thought was, okay, I'm gonna leave the chat up. And then the automated system timed out on the chat and closed the chat window on me, so I'm like, you know. But then the guy ended up calling me back about 45 minutes later, and he had a whole bunch of stuff for me. And it sounds a lot like what you're talking about, where there's that AI chat front end that gives you the customer experience you're looking for, where this is what I'm actually looking for. This is why I've looked at your website. This is what connects to me. That's the data you're talking about collecting, and you're qualifying all that. And then that feeds that into, hey, I'm available to take your call now, or hey, I can be available to call you at this time. Would you like to book that with me? And you've got those qualified leads, and whether it's an inbound call or whether it's an outbound, you've got that workflow happening, and I think that's something that's well.
Yeah, like chatbots are something you need to pay for. Like chatbots are not easy to build, and you can get some out-of-the-box stuff, but when it comes to just creating something that truly understands and also has guardrails in terms of like not saying stuff that will like get you sued, it's like very hard. But yeah, that's definitely a custom project, but I think it's very, very, it's a very good thing to happen. Like one thing we're working on right now for our software is an AI assistant sidebar that will then perform actions within the software. So you don't need to understand anything about how to use software in general. You can just speak in natural language in terms of what you want using our software, and then it'll perform the actions to build those AI agent use cases. And then you can iterate just by like talking to it, and then it's kind of like performing actions in front of you. And I also see that being like the future for browsers and just people using computers in general. Like everything's gonna have like an AI assistant sidebar or bottom bar or something on the screen that will start performing actions. So people are just gonna open up their computer, click a button and be like, I wanna do this, do this, do this. And then it's just gonna start happening in front of them. I think, yeah.
What, maybe a technical question, what is your stack for Personalize? Is it like custom per client, or do you have like a set tech stack that you're working with?
Yeah, so we're built off AWS, but at the end of the day, we're like an API product. So we use LangChain for all our agents, and it's all custom built. We're not like vaporware, but I forgot to tell you guys all about this at the start and at the end of the call, but I do have a promo code here. If you go to our studio, you get 60 days free, but that means you get a ton of credits, and you can just test some of this stuff. So one thing I wanted to do on this call is just, is anyone here on HubSpot? Okay. Does anyone here have contacts that they have in a CSV? Not here today, but okay. I just want to like show you.
Do you mean in a CSV, or like you could export from your non-HubSpot CRM into a CSV to try something? Like no one works at a CSV day to day, right?
No, I mean, you'd be surprised. I just talked to. Like, I just.
Probably working out of like a spreadsheet and then exporting CSV for like import-export purposes.
No, but a bunch of people like, I don't know, they leave their CRMs and they leave their tech stacks and they just export all their data into CSV.
Yeah, I'm with you now. Yeah.
Like, I just spoke with a company that raised money, and they have like a great product, and they raised money, and their whole thing is like 11, 20 different CSVs. And that's how they're doing their like client management. And they have different data on different contacts on every single CSV. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And they raise money somehow. I don't know.
So from where I work, we have LinkedIn newsletters one where we get the CSV data.
Yeah.
We vet them. So
Nice.
do you have any process funnel or something?
Yeah, I just kind of want to show you guys the onboarding. So this memory card I was talking about, I want to show you what that looks like. So do you have your phone on you? Okay, what's your email? Just tell me.
Tell us all.
You don't have to. Like, basically, what I want to do here is I want to show you guys these prompts and these variables that you need to come up with. And this, like our onboarding will just automatically generate it based off a website scrape. But
Put your stuff in. Why don't you put your own details?
it's just I was going to do that, and then I've used all my emails with like existing accounts. So I need like
Rob's email address is pretty public.
Rob? But I need like a business. Who wants to see it? What? Yeah.
Okay, you go ahead.
We're talking later, so what's the email?
AMCK
AMCK.
EACHIE
Yeah.
at SILIUS.tech, TECH.
I'm just gonna create a password
Yeah.
for you.
Do you want my phone number?
Yeah, sure.
250-8
25088.
4
Yeah.
8851.
That's a good one. Nice.
Yeah, I'd never pick that up. That Robo. Looks too Robo.
Well, that's a Salesforce word.
Do you want to just tell me?
Oh, sorry. I'll give you the code.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to not forget this password I just created you. It's .com22. Exclamation mark.
I'm expecting a code in my inbox. Is that correct?
Yes.
Search junk. Here. Oh, it's in the junk. Here it is. 017151.
Ah, shit. Email again.
AMCK EACHIE at SILIUS.tech.
So user friendly.
So that was the recipe.
So
I spell that email right?
It looks like it from here.
I just didn't put a capital. It was capital.com. Okay. Website?
www.silius.tech, SILIUS.tech. Alex.
Okay, so this is going to take like 2 to 3 minutes, but essentially what we're doing here is coming up with what we think your ICP is, what your qualification criteria is, a few examples of what emails will look like in terms of your outreach, and a bunch of other variables that we'll see, and then we'll look at it, and then I'll show you what use cases you can run, and then we could test one right now, and then we'll look at it. It's not going to be good, and then we're going to go back into the variable and optimize it. We don't have to do that all right now, but I just want to show you how that looks.
Is this just pulling off his website?
Yes,
Information?
just his website.
But nothing else that the
No.
website's linked to, or any other data on the website?
No, like the whole thing is just like time to value with this, because before we didn't have this and people would have to like manually create all these prompts, and there's like 10 of them that have to be like very detailed and structured properly, which is obviously a crazy amount of friction. So we just want to get like a first draft in your hand so you can just click a button, look at a result, and then go back into those variables and optimize them. And that's how you do it. And then that's pretty much it. But it's just like a lot of work, especially if you don't have that core Bible in your company where this is our ICP, this is our qualification criteria, these are our personas. Like personas, I feel like a lot of people are like lazy on personas. And that's how you create segmentation, is through personas. Like, are you selling to, in SaaS, like am I selling to another SaaS company that has a very tech forward team, or am I selling to more of like a legacy financial company that has older processes and isn't that tech savvy? And obviously I'm gonna like approach and do different things with those people based off that information. Yeah. What type of personas do you have? Is it all kind of the same type of people, or do you think you could split it up into like 5 to 10 different personas?
It's very different, all demographics,
Yeah.
all ages.
Yeah. Like you have like your trust fund people, and then you also have like your retirement people.
Yeah, down to even really young kids and families as well.
Yeah.
So you're interacting at a totally different level.
Yeah. Interesting.
Different stages of life, all those kind of things.
Yeah. And then I'm just like curious, like financial services, but is it like confidential between just you two, or?
Yes.
Yeah, but like the reason I'm saying that is like, is it confidential because they're saying something personal about their life, and you definitely don't want that to be public information?
Yes.
Okay, but it's okay if you just send it back to them in terms of an email that is coming from you mentioning those type of things.
Yes, but I would never want it to go through any kind of outside source or anything that could access the data.
Yeah.
You know, it's confidential information between my clients and I. So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Hence, I'm really skeptical of any kind of security or trust in AI at the moment.
Yeah. It's tough. Like, you just need to. I've tried to sell to financial services, but this is like a big thing, right?
Big nut.
Yeah. Well, it's just like you can't really crack it unless you build something that's like truly on-prem that costs a lot of money. Like that's a 20 to 30K contract, right?
Yeah, but if you build it, you're going to get millions because a lot of firms are going to use it on site.
Well, have you been promoted at any like AI, law, financial firm stuff? Because there's some like good ones. What's the name? I'll send it to you if you text me. Okay, so let's look at the output. Alex, what was that? What does that look like over there? Okay, so let's look at your qualification criteria. So basically, we generated your qualification criteria here in terms of if they use CRM or Salesforce, is that a strong qualifier? Like, yeah, of course.
There we go.
If anybody qualifies, I'm in the shared Excel sheet from earlier.
Yeah, so basically this is going to be our prompt that is used for, if we go to agents, and then we go to account qualifier, and then hopefully I have a CSV just ready. Go into data. Is there context in this? Yes. Okay, so basically these are the field. So we have our qualification criteria variable, and if I go in here, this is all the prompt that's going to use. And then we have your ICP variable, which this is who we think your ICP is based off our web search and the way we have that data filter through our structure. And then company name, we're just going to map that with the CSV field. So it's going to read every single contact and then apply it to that specific contact in terms of researching it and then referencing it against that qualification and ICP prompt that is right there. So I think that's the right field. No, it's not. And if you have HubSpot, all this just auto maps to your lists, but let's just put name in there. Website. I don't have any websites in that CSV. Okay. I don't have any. Okay, so now we're going to qualify the first 5 contacts in that CSV based off your qualification criteria.
So it's going to iterate through them.
Yeah.
Consider whether each one is qualified, and when it finds the first 5, it's going to back out to it.
It's just going to go to the first 5 records in your CSV, and then it's going to look at their website, look at any other information it can find on it, create a context-rich research summary that will then be based off your ICP and your qualification criteria. And it's going to create a new field within the CSV saying qualification equals true or equals false. And then it's also going to create another field saying this was the reasoning why I qualified or disqualified them.
And using HubSpot, rather than putting it back in the CSV, just putting it in the CRM.
Yeah, it would just automatically populate within the contact record.
You chose 5 because we don't have all day, right?
Yes, exactly. And I would even suggest starting with 2 or 3, because you want to like save your credits, right? Like try to find those errors early, and then start scaling to higher and higher amounts of records.
So when someone purchases your solution, are you providing the credits, or are they providing an API key to their own?
So you can bring your own API key, but we also provide an API key, but like just ready. And you also get 1,000 free credits just on sign up. But if you use that code, you get like a lot more, I think. So, yeah. Yeah.
So a use case, like, I'm trying to think of my clients, like, so they might go to a trade show, and they might come back with a CSV of all the badge scans or the other notes they've taken. And then kind of like, back to work on Monday, it's like, okay, we met with 300 people.
Exactly.
You fired through this. And
I've met multiple people who have that exact problem. Like you're going to trade shows. I think there's a company opportunity for a hardware device that people would do that because it's a very common thing. Just like speak to it and then like say a name or something, and then it auto-populates that note to the contact record. But yeah, all those like notes they're doing manually, like that is great information.
I'm working with clients now to solve the problem of getting the information into the CRM using an AI hardware device.
Yeah.
But it's not real time. It's like you sync it back to the phone later.
Yeah. Okay, so here we qualified 3 people and we disqualified 2. So that's a good sign. Like normally if I see if it disqualifies or qualifies everyone, then that's an easy sign that there's something wrong there. So then it says it matched your ICP here and then the qualification reasoning. So let's look at this guy because we disqualified him. So yeah, if you mind reading that, do you agree or disagree for disqualifying this contact?
Sure. I agree. The little ways in is that there's a mission of stuff. Now, if you're targeting clients that have HubSpot, unlikely to mention HubSpot on their website or LinkedIn or anywhere else the AI would find, right?
Well, there's APIs for that. Apollo does a good job. What their tech stack is, yeah.
Okay. I guess when I'm working with Salesforce, it's often not public facing unless they have a portal.
I've had lots of trouble with like tech stack signals because if they even mention like a tiny thing, then it'll identify them as them using that software, in my opinion. Maybe people are doing it differently, but that's just like a pay more money for data problem. But let's go to the reasoning for qualifying this guy for true. Yeah, but basically, that exact mention, then you're going to want to go back into your qualification variable and say, don't qualify for tech stack, and then run it again and see if you find more errors, and then keep going through that cycle until you look at the reasoning and you're like, yeah, that was some solid reasoning, and then you scale to more contacts, and if you see no errors, that's your asset. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just going to end it there, guys. I'll stay around, stick around if you have any questions. But thanks so much for coming. This was my first talk, so thanks. Great. Awesome.